I saw a post from one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook. The post said, humans ain't evil by choice. Nature itself is evil, leading humans to cause harm. That might sound like a selfish thing to say. I'm evil, but I'm not evil by choice. Nature itself is evil. That is why I'm causing harm. Some people might think if a person says that, they're saying that because they don't want to take accountability for their actions. I'm only evil because nature is evil. But is that not true? Here's what we refuse to acknowledge about life. We refuse to acknowledge that people that are here were born without their consent. That is true. But not only were they born without their consent, they didn't choose where they will be born. They didn't choose what they're going to look like. They didn't choose how they're going to feel. They didn't choose their desires, their needs, their wants. They didn't choose their experiences. That is the sad truth about life. You can be born in a poor family and find yourself desiring to eat nice food and your parents can't afford that. Find yourself desiring to live in a nice house, but your parents didn't build you, a good place to live in. Some people can be lucky. They can find themselves in situations that are favorable, not because they're smart, not because they're doing the right things, but because they were lucky. Life comes with no instructions. Some of the instructions that you are given here are made up. In fact, there's really no formula to life. People just do what works for them. People believe what they feel they must believe to make their lives easy. Now, some people might believe in God. They find that works for them. That makes them feel like they're connected to something. They might find themselves judging other people because they believe in God, believing that they're doing the right thing. Find that someone is gay and the God that they believe in hates gay people, so they hate gay people. They hate gay people and they think they are good. They believe in their hearts that they are good and they are fighting evil. So if someone is gay and they're judging that person, they are the good guys because they are fighting evil. But the truth is, that's just their morality. And they are using their morality to justify being evil, to justify judging another person. Judging a person for their sexual preferences is not different from looking at someone who's overweight and feeling disgusted by them and maybe wanting to laugh at them or wanting to bully them. It's the same part of your brain that makes you judge someone for being gay. I'm not saying being gay is like being fat and it's a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because you already told yourself that someone who's fat maybe is not attractive, so you judge them and you bully them because of that. So you tell yourself that someone who's gay is evil, so you bully them because of that. But that's not true. It's only true because you've convinced yourself that that is true. I want to show you something. Each and every person that you know, each and every person that you've interacted with is actually evil. It's just that some people are conscious enough to realize that about themselves. Some people are incapable of realizing that about themselves. As a human, you're supposed to have values. You're supposed to have morals. Every person has their own morality. They have their own values. We do not all look at the world the same way. There are things that used to be accepted in the past that we do not accept now. Not because those things were worse than the things that, we accept now. No. But because there were people who were in power who felt like the world would be a much better place if some of these things weren't accepted. You see, what we have done is, as humanity, is choose what evils we accept. Because everything about this room is evil. Everything. You see, if you lived in a world where it was totally unacceptable to unalive an animal, you grew up believing that, and everyone believing that. And they bring you into this world, and you see people unaliving animals. It will be so easy to you it'd be so easy for you to see how evil people are, because you already know that it's evil to unalive animals. You might say, no, but it's not evil, it's just nature. No, nature is evil. Just like that post said, humans ain't evil by choice. Nature itself is evil, leading humans to cause harm. Now, if you're a vegan, you can say, no, but we do have a choice. I'm a vegan. I chose not to participate in the suffering of animals. Fine. But what if some people are not conscious enough to see that? And what if there are some things that you're not conscious enough to see? There are some people that I'm friends with on Facebook who are vegans or who are antinatalists who post regularly. And I'll be reading their posts, and some of their posts, some of them maybe they are misogynistic, right? And they don't even realize that. But they hate women, and they're saying very negative and very judgmental things about women. And some of them hate men, and they say very negative and judgmental things about men. And you could see that the way that they treat men in their lives might not be good, but they are vegans, they are antinatalists. You know what I mean? It's like we are all evil, but we are blind in some way. So you could be a vegan and feel like you are better than everyone else, only to find out that you're actually worse than a lot of people that you judge for eating meat. So to truly become a person who is actually right, you have to be conscious of how your actions are affecting others, which is like almost impossible. You know, what you say online, what you say to people in real life, how you know, your body language when you're communicating with people, what you joke about, what you pay attention to, what you don't pay attention to. Like, it's not easy to not be evil in this realm. In fact, to not be evil in this realm, you actually not even need to have an opinion. You just need to just chill in one place and do nothing. Everyone is actually causing harm. Everyone. And that's what nature wanted. That is why it makes a lot of sense, if you truly hate evil, to not create more people. You decided, okay, look, I believe that this realm that I found myself in is evil. It was created to be evil. It's not evil because something went wrong. It's evil because it was supposed to be. It's flawed because it was supposed to be flawed. Right? It's not like something that wasn't supposed to happen happened and the world is the way that it is because it happened. No, the world is exactly what it was supposed to be. I'm here in this world and I can see how evil it is. I can see how evil people in this world are. I can see how evil animals are. Yes, animals are also evil. So, what if I decided not to have a child? Isn't that the most logical thing to do? Because I know that if I bring a child into this world, that child is going to cause harm. That child is going to suffer. There's no way around it. That means that they are going to be evil to others, and others are going to be evil to them, towards them, you know? It's just impossible for a sentient being to not be evil. There are people that will look and be like, that's a good person. I have interacted with people that who really believe that themselves to be good people, and I would find out that, oh shit, there are a lot of things that they don't see. You know? There are a lot of things that they don't see. Like, yeah, the world is evil, and they're able to see that, you know, maybe they're able to see that maybe creating a new person without their consent, that's evil. But there are a lot of things that they're doing that are evil, but they don't see that that's evil. So a person can be evil and be totally blind. Not even be able to realize that they are evil. There are Christians that I know that are evil, bruh. They believe in the Bible not 100%. I don't think there's a person who truly believes in the Bible like 100%. Because if people really did believe in what's written, or maybe they did exist, but they probably died. Because really, if you did believe in what's written in the Bible, you wouldn't do a lot of things that people do to survive in this world. I mean, if I truly believe in what's written in the Bible, if I got sick, I wouldn't go to a hospital. Be like, why do I gotta spend money? Why do I gotta waste time going to a hospital? I got my Jesus here. This nigga gonna help me. Do I really need to go through the trouble of queuing, you know, paying money, speaking to doctors and all that, you know, taking medication? Fuck that. I'm just gonna tell Jesus to heal me. Like, it doesn't make sense that someone who is a Christian, who truly believes in Jesus, goes to a hospital when they're sick. Like, it's the most backwards thing ever. It's like, it doesn't make sense, bruh. It really doesn't make sense. That would be like Superman using a plane, bruh. It's like, nigga can fly. It doesn't, unless maybe he's on a date or something, like he's with someone and he's just up. But it still doesn't really make sense. I've seen a lot of Christians do things that are harmful without realizing that they're doing something that is harmful. I have been a Christian before. I used to be very judgmental. There are people that I've judged, that I've hurt because of my judgment, without even realizing that I'm doing that. I was really evil by choice. Yes, maybe some of us do realize when we're being evil. But what if we cannot be able to live without actually causing harm? What if to survive is to cause harm? Isn't that what nature wanted? Isn't that the reason why animals have to unalive other animals in order to survive? Isn't that why you eat chickens, you eat pigs, goats? Isn't that why? Eat pork? Oh, people be like, I love pork. Isn't that why? Isn't that why you eat plants? You eat vegetables? Isn't that what nature wanted? Can we really survive without causing harm? Without ending a life? I'm not just talking about the life of animals, but even the life of plants, you know. There might not be a life in the way that we are, but they are. We cannot say plants are alive. They are alive. They do grow. When you water them, they grow. When you feed them, they grow. That shows that's being alive. Are they conscious? I don't fucking know. But I also don't know if anything else is conscious except me. I can't know that. Yes, it's more logical to think that a cow is conscious than to think that a plant is conscious. But I still don't know. But what is true is that we have to take a life in order to survive, which actually sucks. It's survival of the fittest. That tells you that nature itself is evil. It's not us. We don't want things to be the way that they are. And that also should tell us something about who we really are. Why is it that as you become more conscious, you stop agreeing with nature, right? Maybe when you were a little kid, you kind of like agreed with the way that things work. You know, the people who are not conscious, you can see that they feel like the way that things work is the best way things can work. But as you get older, you're like, nah, man, something's definitely wrong here. This ain't the way things are supposed to be. This is evil. If you grow up in a country where women are not supposed to have a voice, you're like, that's evil, man. Like, some women are smart, right? Because you'd be like, oh no, men are smart, men. No, some women are smart, bro. Like smart. Like smarter than most men. So just because men able to lift heavy stuff, they're strong, doesn't necessarily mean that they're always right and they'll always make the best decisions. There are some women who are leaders, who are natural born leaders, bro. So they shouldn't become leaders just because you feel like women should not have a voice. Like, nah. So you'll be able to say that, okay, that's just wrong. That's just evil, bro. White people who were conscious enough to realize that racism was wrong. Slavery was wrong. Apartheid was wrong. They became so conscious that they were able to realize how privileged they were and how that was unfair to people who were considered to be different from them, which is not easy to realize. It's not easy to realize when you're causing harm if things become easier for you because you're causing harm. Because we want our lives to be easy. So if I'm causing harm and my life is easy because I'm causing harm, I might not care that I'm causing harm. I might not even want to think about the fact that I'm causing harm. I might not even want to think about the people that are being affected or the beings that are being affected. I'm going to be thinking about myself like, oh shit, I'm having what I want. I'm enjoying my life. This is nice, bruh. I'm not thinking about those that are being affected negatively. Nature. But yeah, as we become more and more conscious, we do realize how we are causing harm. I do realize that, oh shit, there are people that I used to judge. Maybe there are people who have tattoos, you judge them. People with tattoos, every time when you pass a person with tattoos in the street, you look at them and make them feel insecure and you judge them. And you don't even see anything wrong with that. And that person has to now feel maybe insecure or just not feel good, right? Because of you. You've ruined that day. And we might think, hey, we should not care what other people think about us. Well, it's not easy to not, like, you have to reach a very, very high level of consciousness. Most people care what other people think of them. So if you're not conscious, you just judge people without even realizing that you're hurting them. I know people like that. They have opinions about people. Everywhere we go, bruh, look at what this one is wearing, blah, 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 blah. That person can hear them. You're ruining their day, and you think you're a good person. That is why, and listen, I'm going to tell you this, even before I tell you what I'm about to tell you. No matter how the world bullies you, try your best not to do anything harmful because of that. Unless you're trying to protect yourself. Now, I've noticed that if like a kid shoots up at school, everyone is going to say, oh, that kid is a monster. That kid was this and that. And I'll be like, okay, but society might have also had that kid in ways that we are not ready to accept that, it did. Maybe that kid was considered weird by everyone, and everyone would laugh at that kid. Everyone would say negative things about it. You find that kid just trying to, be alone and just, be at peace, and then someone laughs at them. Maybe they're passing by, and then maybe there's this popular kid talking to girls and be like, okay, you don't want me, go and date him, and then laugh. Like, that fucks with their mind. That's painful. That's so damn painful. And we're going to pretend as if it's not painful. It is painful. It is painful, and it's beyond evil. But then you will not be conscious enough to realize what you're doing to that kid. The hatred that you're forcing on that kid, because maybe that kid is cool. Maybe that kid doesn't want to hate anyone. Maybe that kid just want to live their life. But every day, imagine going through that every day, bruh. Every day when the kid wakes up in the morning, they know they're going to have to deal with that shit. You're going to deal with judgments. People are comfortable making fun of their kid. Maybe there's just one or two kids who are like, but guys, come on, like, this is just wrong. But everyone else thinks that that's right. And then that kid one day decides that, you know what, I'm going to hate people the way that they've hate me. And then we say, oh, that kid is evil. That kid is... No. I mean, yeah, that's evil, but we are also evil. You see? Like, it requires a very high level of consciousness, man, to realize, like, even the good people are evil. Some people are just fucking privileged, bruh. Some people are just privileged, so they think they're not evil. If you're desperate enough, you'll do some of the things that you consider to be immoral. If you were desperate enough. So you don't know how desperate some people are. And some people don't, play by rules, because rules are made up, by the way. Just some people must understand. So they don't live by rules. They weren't taught what you were taught. And even if they were, maybe some people just didn't believe what you were taught. You see? So who's right? In the end, we must realize that all of us are evil. That is why it makes sense to not bring more people. Like, for me, that, like, I remember I made a video maybe 2 or 3 years back. I was like, you know what? I feel like I shouldn't judge a person for anything. But I do feel as if the only thing that can be done that is actually wrong in this room is bringing people here. The reason why that is wrong is because now you have made someone evil. Because once a person is born, they are automatically evil. Like, they need to consume to survive. Like, there's no way around. Like, you can't just be like, I'm just gonna pray to Jesus and I'm just gonna be alive without eating anything. I'm gonna be alive without hating anyone. I'm just gonna live life. I'm gonna be able to socialize with people without hating anyone. It doesn't work. Some people, you hate them because they're stupid. Now let me repeat that again. Some people, you hate them just because they're stupid. They don't understand you, and they're hurt because they don't understand you. You know that can happen. So it's impossible to not hate other people. You can tell someone the truth and they're hurt by the truth. So how are you going to live your life without hating anyone? Because you don't hate people only when you're wrong. You can also hate people even if you are 100% right. There are some people who watch my videos and become angry at what I'm saying, and then they write paragraphs criticizing me. You could see that that's coming from anger. You could see that they are hurt. Like, it's not even about convincing me that I'm wrong. It's just them. They're hurt by what I'm saying. So you can't make everyone happy. You can't do things that everyone is gonna benefit from. It doesn't work that way. The game of life is actually rigged, and we don't want to admit that it is rigged. We feel as if we can fix this world, but there is really nothing to fix. The world is exactly what it's supposed to be. You see, when we try to fix the world, we go against nature, and nature fights back always. Nature fights back. You decide to be a very kind person, then people take you for granted. That's nature fighting back. Like, no, you can't be kind, motherfucker. Like, if you're gonna be kind, I'm gonna make people think you're weak, and they're gonna mistreat you for thinking that you're weak. They're gonna mistreat you because they think that you're weak. They're gonna think that they can get away with anything. So you suffer. That's nature fighting back. It's good to try to be as conscious as possible so that you'll be aware of the harm that you're causing, because that can help you you can at least develop empathy, right? I I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that if a lion unalives an animal, it buries that animal, and it even cries. That's better. This reminds me of a scene from the movie Avatar, where those the aliens, I forgot what they call those aliens, but they were natives in that planet that they were in, Pandora. When they would, I remember when this other lady from this other tribe, she protected this guy, you know, because they had to, they had this technology that allowed them to transfer their consciousness into these avatars that looked like, people, those humanoid creatures that lived in that planet Pandora, so that they can study their culture, so that they can communicate with them, because they wanted something where these people lived, so they wanted them to move from that place, so they wanted them to trust them first, so that they can tell them to leave, and if they don't leave, they will just, there will be a war. So people were sent there. So one of the people who were sent there, they found themselves surrounded by animals that wanted to unalive them. This other lady protected the guy. She unalived those animals, and she started to cry, and she blamed him, say it's his fault because these animals are they are so damn unconscious that, yeah, if you're gonna put, and this is actually profound, by the way. This is profound. Listen, these animals are so damn unconscious that, well, if you're gonna give them an opportunity to be evil, they're gonna be evil. So it's your fault that you've had to protect yourself against them. In fact, it's your fault that I had to protect you against them. And I've only protected you against them because I'm listening to nature. Nature is literally telling me to protect you. You see, like, they believe there was these things that will fly, that look like what is it called? It's like they will light up when they're flying. So they communicate with people, they and yeah, they kind of like understood what they will actually understand what they mean. So she protected him because of those things, but she was mad at him. She even cried because of that, because she's mad. She feels guilty for unaliving them. So that's better. That will make us treat other people better, other animals better. Those who like meat will be like, yeah, we like meat, but should these animals be in cages? Would you understand that it's much faster to produce meat when we're enslaving these animals? But don't they want to enjoy their lives too? Should they have to suffer? Like, should we be so inconsiderate that we make them suffer unnecessarily, even if they are, you know what I mean? It's like, I've spoken a lot about the Lush farm theory, that I do have a feeling that the beings that are getting energy from our suffering, they are now pushing it. Like, it doesn't have, like, life is not supposed to be so damn hard. Like, they're just fucking pushing it, bruh. It's like they've ran out of ways to get loose from people, and they just, you know what I mean? And they're greedy for loose. So it's the same way that we humans are treating these animals. We're too damn greedy that we don't care about about their well-being anymore. Like, they could suffer, they could grow up in cages. It's fine, as long as we will get our meat. You know what I mean? That's where we at as a collective. But if you're compassionate, if you've reached a level of consciousness that actually allows you to understand that that's evil, you'll be like, okay, yeah, man, maybe I don't know how to live without eating meat, but animals won't be going through that either. So there has to be, I know that vegans will not agree with me, but there has to be humane ways to kind of like, because we're just in a messed up realm. I don't even know how to say, like, I don't even disagree with the beings that be getting energy from us, because I would look at them as slaves. It's a messed up realm. What you must do if you're truly against this place, just don't bring more people here. That's the most intellectually honest thing to do. Like, because everything that is done here is evil. We just choose what we want to believe is evil and what we want to believe is good. But everything is evil. You know, bringing people here without their consent, that's evil. But we chose to believe that is good, so we praise people for bringing people here, for bringing more people here. But but that's evil. We can praise people for having successful businesses, selling meat, raising cattle, but it's evil. Farming, animals, that's evil. But we praise people for that, but there are things that we will not praise people for. That I came across a post on Facebook about some lady that ate a dog, and everyone, that's evil, she's sick. And I'm not saying that's not evil, that's not sick, but we do worse to animals. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we just choose what we want to believe is evil and what we want to believe is good. We'll be like, yeah, well, unaliving a chicken is good, but a dog is bad. We just choose, like, what really is the difference. You could say, well, I'm eating chicken just to survive, but not really. You're eating chicken for pleasure, really, because, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like the same thing. I'm not defending that, by the way, because some people are idiots. They'll think that I'm defending that. No, I'm not defending abusing animals. But what I'm trying to show you is that everything is evil. We just choose what we want to believe is evil, and we choose what we do not want to believe is evil. That's it. That's it. The same way that if someone is homophobic, they can choose to believe that a man and a man having sex is evil, but a woman and a man having sex is not evil. You're like, okay, tell me what really is the difference. Well, a woman has a pussy, and nature, it's natural. It's like, well, that's also natural. You might be like, no, Benedict, you're right. You're not right. Being gay is not natural. Like, nah, it is natural. It's happening in nature. It's natural. Humans do things that are natural. Come on, don't you see that? I'm not saying be gay. I'm not saying be straight. But, like, sometimes when humans are judging other humans, they make me laugh, bruh. And trust me, I'm not gay in any way. Like, I'm the most ungayest human. And this is not, I don't want to, the reason why I'm saying this is because I want people to realize that I'm not defending gay people because I'm gay. I'm defending gay people because I'm right and I want to be right. I just want to speak the truth about everything so that people can reach high levels of consciousness. And I think the only way to reach high levels of consciousness is by seeing things as they really are, not by lying to ourselves, because that's what sucks. That's what keeps people in lower state of consciousness. Really, it's lying to ourselves. So it takes a lot to actually be able to realize the real truth about ourselves, the real truth about our nature as humans, as animals, as conscious beings in this planet, with desires, with needs and wants. We like to point fingers at other people. We don't like to point fingers at ourselves. Like, I'm a good person because I'm able to realize how evil this world is. But you might be selfish in some ways that you don't even realize that you're actually selfish. In fact, some of the most horrible people in this world are people who think they're good. because they'll never improve, they'll never become better. I remember there's this scene in South Park where Carl was talking to Hader. What is the name of that the girl that was dating Eric Cartman? I think it's Hader. Was it Hader? Let's call her Hader. So Carl is talking to Hader, and he's talking about Cartman. Cartman was very abusive towards her. So he was like, people like Eric Cartman only see themselves as victims, and because of that, they will never change. There are people in this world who see themselves like as victims all the time, or who see themselves as good all the time. So they'll never change. They'll never grow. In any situation, they are good. They are the good person in that situation. If things go wrong, they were good. They've never caused any harm. You know what I mean? So of course there's no growth. You also have to look at yourself and be like, okay, I may have been an asshole in this way and that way, and that might have caused other people to react this way and that way. I mustn't always look at myself as a saint. In fact, in most cases, when things don't go well, you're also responsible in some way. In most cases, not in every case. There are some situations where you are totally a victim. But in most cases, you kind of like responsible in some way. You might not be, as responsible as the other person or as other people, but you might find that you kind of like, were responsible. So what do you think? Do you think humans choose to be evil, or they are evil just because nature is evil and humans are part of nature? Meaning that there's no way to not be evil. When I read the comments, I realized that some people have their own morality, and they feel that those who don't live by their moral standards are evil, and they choosing to be evil. But they don't realize that the same people who don't live by the moral standards also have their moral standard, and they look at them and be like, oh, they're evil because they could be good in this way and that. You know what I mean? A Christian might look at it as an atheist and be like, yeah, you evil for having sex before marriage. You're evil for having sex before marriage. That's evil. You could choose to not be evil and not have sex before marriage. But the atheist doesn't even feel guilty at all. But there are things that they feel like you are wrong about. Maybe you are judging some people. Maybe you are indoctrinating your children, and they feel like that is evil. I remember I told you that I actually hate the fact that I was indoctrinated when I was a little kid, and I think that was beyond wrong. The fact that they will take us to an assembly. I need to highlight this guy right now. He owes me money. All right, I need to open a gate for him, but I'm gonna finish this video, guys. I'm not gonna cut anything out. He owes me money, so I need to make sure I get it. Sorry guys for um this short break. Thing is, I don't like cutting my videos. There's something that feels real about like not cutting, like when you're recording a video and no matter what happens you don't cut anything out. You like, it feels real. I mean, remember I saw this interview, like where these guys were interviewing Kanye West. They did a vlog before they started interviewing the guy, expressing themselves, talking about their conversation with Kanye, even before they got to the hotel that he was in. And when they got there, even when he won, what a thing. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But sometimes it's just trolling. But I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I think it's crazy in a good way. But I'll defend him a lot. But I really did not agree with what he said about, like, if he did say something about Jay-Z's daughters, I don't know what he hoped to gain out of that. If he was told that he must say that, because like I've been telling you that obviously we're being played big time. Like, why would someone so intelligent like Kanye say something like that? Because they say that he said the R word about Jay-Z's twins. Like, the reason why we don't see them a lot is because of the R thing. Like, nah, man. You don't say that. You're too intelligent to say that. He's made comments about Puff that a lot of people don't agree with, but I'll be like, look, it's much more complicated than we'd like to think it is. Like, life is more complicated than we like to think it is, right? We like to think that everything is like black and white, like no, life is actually more complicated than we'd like to think it is. And that's what's making it very difficult. Why is Puff the way that he was? Or the way that he is? Why is Ye the way that he is? Why is Jay the way that he is? You look at people and you judge them. But you find that if you were them, you would have been like them. It's like, the real problem is nature, bruh. You look at bullies. I've spoken about those that get bullied and end up doing something evil because they were bullied, right? But what about the bullies themselves? You might say, well, they're just bad, they don't have a reason to be bad, they don't have a reason to be assholes. But what if they were treated so well by life that they automatically become assholes? Because that happens. Like, life is treating you so damn well that you don't feel shit. You never got to feel anything for anyone. Like, you look at humans the same way that humans look at animals, because they're treating you so damn well. I mean, when you put people on a pedestal, they take you for granted for real. It's just nature. And so that's why guys that are loved by women, like guys that are loved, that have been loved by women since the way, they don't care about their feelings. So they'll do the most horrible thing and feel nothing. Like, feel nothing. Why? Because they take them for granted. They don't look at them the same way that a guy who's a 5 would look at women and put them on a pedestal, and they will not do some certain things to them. It's the same with women themselves. Women that are on top, those the baddies. They're not very kind to guys. You know what I mean? You know. So it's nature. It's how it is. It's not easy to escape your own nature as a human. We are all evil. You might think you're good, but maybe you're good because you have to be good to survive. You find that if you didn't have to be a good person to survive, you wouldn't be a good person. So you just feel like the only way for you to at least be accepted is to be at least nice. That's why we've spoken about this. Like, women hate nice guys because maybe some of them feel like they are overcompensating or something. You know what I mean? It's life. It's nature. So you might think, hey, I'm a good person. I've never done anything to harm anyone. Yeah, maybe you have to be a nice person. But I'm not saying don't be a nice person. But I'm just trying to make you see the truth about yourself. There are people who are just too damn conscious, who are at least, they're evil, but they are kind of like escaping their own nature. Does that make sense? It's like, yeah, they're evil, but they're fighting against their own nature, meaning they're trying to not be evil. So that makes them less evil than those who are those who don't even see that they're evil. So they're not trying to escape their own nature, you see? But yeah, man, we need to see things as they are. I do believe that there's the only way that we can set ourselves free. If we don't try to see things as they are, we are never going to set ourselves free. Trust me. Thank you, guys. Oh, this is one of my favorite videos, by the way. You record a video and you don't think it's gonna, like, I did know that it was gonna be good, but I didn't think, like, I also learned from myself. You know what I mean? Like, when I was recording this video, like, I had so many deep insights that were just coming into my awareness on their own. Like, I wasn't even trying to have these insights, like the examples that I give you in my videos. In fact, like, that's how it happens all the time, but I feel like the insights were much deeper. Like, when I'm recording a video, these examples just come, and I like using examples from movies, from series, like South Park. South Park is like, I think I've spoken about South Park a lot on this channel. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for your support. That really does help a lot. You liking my videos, you sharing my videos. The channel is growing because of that. We're on 11,000 subscribers. When I started this channel, I couldn't even have predicted that would happen. It was just me trying to express myself as honestly as possible, but it did happen. So thank you.